Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all so much for joining. Welcome to our next unit, second unit of Bhakti Vaibhav. Hope you all have finished your closed book exams and also the test shlokas, and hope the exam was good. It was not that difficult. So thank you so much. So we will start our second unit. We have already started on Tuesday. We have covered few verses and we will continue from that. But before that, we will go for Mangalachara. We'll recite Mangalachara and then we'll move ahead. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालय कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वर। Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you once again for your very, very kind association. Happy to be back with all of you in our second module of Bhakti Vaibhav. So we are in the section where we are started this chapter. This is chapter number 10. So the first canto has 19 chapters, first to 9. This entire canto has been divided into 2 units or 2 modules. The first was from 1st to 9 and from 10 to 19 will be your second unit. This chapter entitled is Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarka. So from chapter number 8 only, we have been seeing that Krishna is ready to go to Dwarka. He mounted his chariot, but at that time he was stopped by Uttara because she was being attacked by the Brahmastra which was thrown, which was shot by Ashwatthama. And then we saw beautiful prayers by Srimati Kunti Maharani. Again, Krishna, along with all the ladies and Pandavas, he went to Hastinapur to bid farewell. But then he was stopped by Yudhishthir Maharaj because Yudhishthir Maharaj was thinking himself to be the doer and taking the blame that all this massacre has happened because of me, so that I be enthroned on this and get this earthly planet, earthly kingdom. What is the use? I have committed so many sins by killing all these innocent people in the battle of Kurukshetra. Tried to convince him, Krishna tried a lot to convince him, but again it was Krishna's Maya that Yudhishthira was not pacified. Finally, all the Pandavas, along with different sages, went to the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where they saw Bhishma lying on the bed of arrows. Krishna made this arrangement, and we saw beautiful Bhishma Stuti, the prayers that were offered by Bhishma Dev, who also consoled Yudhishthira Maharaj and gave blessings and benedictions to all the Pandavas. After the departure of Bhishma Dev, where the chapter 9 ended, now this chapter is again entitled actually the departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarka, because this time Krishna doesn't want to give any kind of excuses of staying back in Hastinapur. But our Parikshit Maharaj, not Parikshit Maharaj actually, but our Shaunakadi Rishi, they were in Naimisharanya asked Suta Goswami that you have to tell us, so what happened? Because now Yudhishthira Maharaj is pacified and Bhishma Dev left his body in the presence of Lord Krishna. How did that kingdom went? How Yudhishthira Maharaj ruled that kingdom? So to answer these questions by Shaunakadi Rishi, Sutta Goswami said that Yudhishthira Maharaj, when he was enthroned, he ruled over the entire earth with all his brothers. And the reign of Yudhishthira Maharaj was very good. It was like Rama Rajya. There was sufficient rainfall. Earth was giving lot of produce. The cows were giving lot of milk, and the rivers, the oceans, they were all filled with water. And the mountains, the forests, the creepers, they all were very happy. And not only all this nature, but the citizens are also very happy. They were not disturbed by any anxieties or any akal mrityu or any diseases or any sufferings that may be caused because of adi bhautik, that is heat or cold, or by nature, or by their own mind, adhyatmic, or even by the Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik. Adi Bhautik is through other living entities. Adi Daivik is through the nature, and Adhyatmic by their own mind. So they were not disturbed. There were no miseries that were prevailing. Why? Because the king was very pious. It was Yudhishthira Maharaj, and not only pious, but he was a devotee of Lord Shri Krishna. So explaining that, then Suta Goswami continued that Lord Shri Krishna then resided in Hastinapur for a few months. He didn't leave immediately. He tried to pacify all the other relatives, and of course her own dear sister Subhadra Maharani. Subhadra Devi was also there. So Krishna pacified her also. And finally he said, now I don't want to leave any excuse. Now is the time for me to depart, because it's been long that I have left Dwarka. So he took permission from Yudhishthira Maharaj to leave. And of course, Yudhishthira Maharaj is elder. He touched his feet, and Yudhishthira Maharaj, knowing the position of Krishna, didn't allow. He immediately embraced Krishna. And finally, Krishna mounted his chariot to leave to Dwarka. But there were so many devotees who were there. They were feeling a lot of separation. They were unable to bear separation. And who all were there? Subhadra Devi, Draupadi Devi, Kunti Maharani, Uttara, Gandhari, and even Dhritarashtra was there. Then Kripacharya, all the Pandavas, they were unable to bear the separation from the Supreme Lord. And thus they were continuously crying, they were weeping, and they were unable to bear separation. And it looks like that they were fainting often because they were unable to bear the separation from Lord Krishna. So from that we covered, and now we will continue our verse number 13 that will explain the further anxieties, the longingness that was there in the heart of devotees of Hastinapur. So this is the chapter. So we covered till verse number 12, right? Yeah. So what was the 12th verse? The intelligent who have understood the Supreme Lord in association with pure devotees and have become freed from bad materialistic association can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord. So Sutta Goswami is telling that how, even though somebody who has been into the materialistic association for a very long time, but somehow it happens that person comes in contact with some pure devotees of the Lord. And now when they have come in the pure devotees of the Lord, they heard the glories of the Lord. And after hearing the glories of the Lord, they leave their materialistic propensities, their materialistic association, because they heard the glories of the Lord. But their hearing of the glories of the Lord may be for a very short time. But even then, they are not able to bear the separation or tolerate the separation from Lord Shri Krishna. Okay, so they are so much overwhelmed by hearing the glories of the Supreme Lord that even though they have heard once, they cannot stop themselves in hearing more glories of the Supreme Lord. Then Sutta Goswami says, then what to talk about the Pandavas? How can they tolerate his separation? Because they are not those materialistic people who were engaged in their materialistic propensities and somehow come in contact with the pure devotees. No, they are Nitya Siddhas. They had been intimately associated with his person, with his personality of Lord Shri Krishna, by seeing him face to face, by touching him, conversing with him, and sleeping, sitting, and dining with him. So they were so closely attached to Krishna. So it is so impossible for these devotees to bear separation from Krishna, because now Krishna has finally decided that he wants to leave for Dwaraka. Now this is text 13, which is in continuation of what we saw in the previous verse. Okay, so this is in continuation with the previous section. Sarve te nimishayr akshais tam anudruta chetasa vikshanta sneha sambadha vichelus tatra tatraha. Sarve means all of them. Who all? That have been described in previous verse. That is Subhadra Devi, Draupadi Devi, Kunti Maharani, Uttara, Gandhari, and all the wives of all the Pandavas, they all, sarve te animishar akshas. Aksha means eyes. Animisha, nimisha means to blink. Okay, the blink of an eye. Right, that is nimisha. But animisha means without blinking their eyes. Tam anudruta chetasa, their eyes were following, and they were seeing. Why? Because they were seeing Krishna, because Krishna was leaving for Dwaraka. So with unblinking eyes means constantly staring eyes, they were seeing Krishna, and eyes were also following Shri Krishna. Druta Chetasa, and not only that, their Chetasa, their consciousness, their heart, that was also melting, because they cannot bear the separation, because Krishna is about to leave to Dwaraka. Vikshanta Sneha Sambandha, and Vikshanta, looking Krishna going, their heart was melting. Druta Chetasa, their heart was melting. But then why their heart was melting? Sneha Sambandha, because they were tied, they were bound with the ropes of they were bound with the ropes of love for Krishna, the pure affection they had. And because of that, vichalas tatraha, they began to move. They were in great anxiety. They were longing, that craving was there, that somehow Krishna should stop. So vichalas means they were simply moving here and there, tatra, here and there. They were moving so that they can see Krishna always. And how they were seeing? Animished, that through unblinking eyes they were seeing Krishna and they were bound with sneha. So that's how they were seeing Krishna. Vichalis tatra tatraha, and their eyes were also moving here and there. So somebody can read translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. All their hearts were melting for him on the pot of attraction. They looked in him without blinking their eyes, and they moved hither and there in perplexity.
Yes. So they moved here and there in perplexity because they were very perplexed. They were very bewildered that they don't want Krishna somehow. They want Krishna to stop, to stay in Hastinapur. They don't want him to leave to Dwarka. That is the mood of love, the affection that they were carrying in their heart for Krishna. So, looking upon with the unblinking eyes, animation, their hearts melted and they became filled with sneha, with affection, and they moved around. Somehow, Krishna should stop. Prabhupada writes in the purport, Krishna is naturally attractive for all living beings because he is the chief eternal amongst all eternals. So Krishna is naturally attractive. Karshati akarshati iti Krishna. That is the meaning of the word Krishna. Karshati akarshati iti Krishna. He who attracts everyone. So that meaning itself means that he's all attractive. And all living beings, for all living beings, because he's the chief eternal amongst all eternals. So this is from Katha Upanishad. Nitya Nityanam Chaitanas Chetananam. That Krishna, he is the supreme and he is the chief amongst all eternals. He alone is the maintainer of all the eternals. This is stated in Katha Upanishad. And thus one can obtain permanent peace and prosperity by revival of eternal's relationship with him. Now we have forgotten under the spell of Maya the illusory energy of the Lord. But once this relation is slightly revived, see how Prabhupada is saying, not completely blossomed, but slightly, if even that sambandha is revived, the conditioned soul at once becomes freed from the illusion of material energy and becomes mad after the association of the Lord. That longingness, that craving to associate with the Lord increases. And this association is made possible not only seeing or having that personal contact with the Lord, because how many of us also have the contact? No, we don't have the personal contact with the Lord, but we have the personal contact with the pure devotees of the Lord. And in their association, we learned what? We learned his name, his fame, his form, his quality. And then Prabhupada says that this Srimad Bhagavatam actually gives us this opportunity to come in contact with the Supreme Lord through his name, fame, through his Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. And they train the conditioned soul to that stage of perfection by submissive hearing from the pure devotees of the Lord. Again, this is important, by submissive hearing from the pure devotee of the Lord. So why this is important? Because it's the pure devotees of the Lord, they carry Krishna in their heart. Amito Kangal, Krishna Krishna Kare, Dhaite Pache Pache. That I am Kangal, I am poverty stricken in case of having Krishna's name in my life. But oh, Vaishnava Thakur, you are a pure devotee and you carry Krishna in your heart. And therefore, I run behind you, calling Krishna, Krishna, so that somehow you give that merciful glance on me, and I may also be blessed to have Krishna in my life. Why? Because they give Krishna, they carry Krishna in their heart. Krishna says that I stay in the heart of the pure devotees. And they have this adhikar to give Krishna to others. We conditioned souls do not have adhikar because we don't have Krishna. The pure devotees, they have Krishna, so they have the right adhikar to give Krishna to others. So in their association, when we hear about Krishna, when we hear his name, his pastimes, his form, his quality, then what happens? There is a shift of consciousness. There is a transformation of heart that happens in us. And that is what Prabhupada is saying, that our relation gets revived. So that relation is eternal. But in the conditioned souls, that relationship is like in a dormant stage. So it has to be agitated, it has to be revived, it has to be awakened, and that can only be possible in the association of pure devotees. And Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam trains the conditioned soul to this stage of perfection by submissive hearing from the pure devotee. So the essence is that the ladies, they were so much attracted to Krishna. And why not? Krishna is naturally attractive for all living beings. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he gives the meaning of the word Krishna. I'll share this screen. Krishna, this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. कृषिर्भूवाचक शब्दो नश्च निवृत्तिवाचक तयोर ऐक्यं परम ब्रह्म कृष्ण इति अभिधीयते. Krishir-bhu-vachako shabdo. So this word Krishna is made up of two words. So one is Krishir. Krishir-bhu-vachako, the verbal root Krish, attractive existence, vachaka, signifying the word syllable. Krish. Krish means the Lord's existence, the attractive feature of the Lord existence. Nashcha nivriti vachaka, and then there is na, Krishna. Na refers to the Ananda potency that the Supreme Lord carries, with which the Supreme Lord gives bliss to others. So these two words, Krish and Na, they together, Tayor Aikyam, together, when the verb Krish is added to the affix Na, actually, it becomes Krishna. And that indicates Tayor Aikyam, when they combine together, it indicates the Param Brahma, the supreme absolute truth. And then it becomes Krishna. Krishna iti abhidiyate. So this is Krishna. Again, Krishna is Draupadi. Okay, but Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So that is being explained by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So we will move ahead with text number 14. Nyarudhan Galad Paspam Outkanthya Devaki Sute Nidyati Agaranno Bhadram Iti Syad Bandhavastriya. So it is thus, Syad Bandhavastriya means the ladies of all the relatives who were there, who were present in Hastinapur, seeing Krishna leaving for Dwarka. So iti Syad Bandhavastriya, they were the ladies of all those relatives, they were there. And Niryati Agaran, they have come out from their palace, but they have not come out on the road, but they have come out from the palace and they are actually on the rooftops. So what they were doing? Rundhan Udgalat Basvan. The tears were overflowing from their eyes. Udgalat means they were flowing. What? Basvan? Basvan referred to tears. So the tears were overflowing from the eyes of those ladies. And Aruddham means to prevent. Nya Aruddham means that it was very difficult for them to prevent. What is very difficult to prevent? The tears that were flowing from their eyes. So they don't want the tears to come out, but the tears were coming. Outkantya means with great eagerness, utkantha ke saath, where their heart were, their throat was choking up. Their heart was totally immersed in seeing Krishna. And they were having this great anxiety, this eagerness that, Krishna is leaving. So with that utkantha, with that eagerness, their eyes were flowing with tears and they were trying to check those tears. They don't want the tears to come out. But seeing Devaki Sutta, seeing the son of Devaki going from Hastinapur with great difficulty, they were trying to wipe off their overflowing tears, but it was not possible. It was not possible for them. So, with great effort, they tried to stop the tears, but it was not possible. Then he says, Niryati agaran no bhadram. Why they were checking their tears? Why not they let the tears go, overflow? But they don't want. Why? Because no bhadram, they don't want any inauspiciousness to happen. Now, why, if somebody is crying, there could be any inauspiciousness? But actually, yes, tears are considered to be the sign of inauspiciousness. Because why the tear comes out? Tears comes out when we have some sorrow, some problem, some distress, or when we feel separation from our loved ones. So that is why the tears, they come out. Yes, the tears also, there are the tears of happiness, but these are not the tears of happiness, what was experienced by all these ladies of Hastinapur. These were not the tears of happiness, but these were the tears of sorrow, of separation. So naturally, these tears, they caused inauspiciousness, because it is referred, especially when somebody is leaving. You see, in the olden days, when, especially if you see in Maharashtra side, when the people, they go for war, the ladies, even in Rajasthan, that culture was prevailing. When the gents, they go out for the war, the ladies, they don't cry. Rather, they put tilak and they give sword themselves to their husband, so that they bid them farewell with the sign of auspiciousness, so that you come back victorious from the battlefield. So this was the culture. So when somebody leaves home, they should leave with some encouragement, with some positivity. But these tears, they actually add some lamentation to it. Therefore, the tears are considered to be inauspicious. Secondly, even the person who is leaving, he carries that person, he carries the mood of the family. So if they see the family is crying, naturally they'll become disturbed, and with heavy heart they will leave, and they will be very anxious. So their mind will also not be stable. So that also distracts someone from the purpose of their going. So here also, these ladies, they don't want Krishna to be distracted from his purpose of going to Dwarka. Neither they want that Krishna should carry the mood, that how they are lamenting, they are crying, so that Krishna should not see the tears in their eyes, and Krishna should leave happily to Dwarka. See, this is the mood of the ladies, of the devotees of Lord Shri Krishna. They don't want Krishna to leave. They were, with heavy heart, they were allowing Krishna to go to Dwarka, but at the same time, they were considering Krishna's happiness to be on the top of their own selfish nature of making Krishna staying back. They said, okay, we don't want Krishna to go, but if Krishna has decided to go to Dwarka, then let him go peacefully, happily, so that his purpose of going to Dwarka be fulfilled. He should not get any sign of lamentation from our side. Therefore, Nyaruddhan Udgalad Bhasman, even though the tears were overflowing, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary writes that with the corner of their dupattas, of their saris, they were trying to wipe the tears so that Krishna was not able to see those tears. And Krishna should not see the lamentation that they were carrying in their heart. Utkantha, with great eagerness, they were trying to control the overflowing tears, seeing Krishna, Devaki Sutta, seeing the son of Devaki going to Dwarka. And why they were checking? Niryati agaran means they come out from their palace, no bhadram, so that there is no inauspiciousness that happens in Krishna's life. Somebody can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The female relatives whose eyes were flooded with tears out of anxiety for Krishna came out of the palace. They could stop their tears only with great difficulty. They feared that tears would cause misfortune at the time of departure. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madhu. So they were fearing that, oh, these tears may cause misfortune, may cause some inauspiciousness for Krishna. So with great difficulty, they were checking their tears so that tears are not overflowed. There were hundreds, Prabhupada writes in his purport, there were hundreds of ladies in the palace of Hastinapur, and all of them were affectionate to Krishna. All of them were relatives also. When they saw that Krishna was going from the palace for his native place to Dwarka, they were very anxious for him, utkantha. As usual, the tears began to roll down from their cheeks out of sneha bandha, out of affection. They thought at the same time that the tears at that moment might be the cause of misfortune for Krishna. Therefore, they wanted to check them. Narudhyan, Anyarudhyan. This was very difficult for them because the tears could not be checked. Therefore, they smeared their tears in their eyes and their hearts throbbed. Therefore, ladies who were the wives and daughter-in-law of those who died in the battlefield never came in direct contact with Krishna. Why? Because then they would be crying for their own sorrow. So, this is actually not the part of this, but with an extra addition to this, that yes, as it is said that in the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, that how one should cry for Krishna. Okay? The tears should come out when we call upon Krishna. And His Holiness Gaur Govind Maharaj also says that you have been enrolled in the crying school. Cry for Krishna. And if you cannot cry, then cry that you are not able to cry for Krishna. This is one type of crying. But when we cry before Krishna because of our problems or our sufferings or our separation from our own loved ones, then that crying is not a good crying. We should only cry in separation of Krishna, longing to go to Krishna, longing to see Krishna face to face, or longing to hear about Krishna. That crying is the right crying. So here also Prabhupada is saying, the ladies or the daughter-in-laws or the wives of those who died in the battlefield, they didn't come in contact with Krishna. Because if they would have come, they would have not cried because of separation from Krishna, but they would have cried because of the sufferings that was there because the husbands have left their body in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So there could be a mixed feelings. So therefore, they didn't come in direct contact with Krishna. But all of them heard of him and his great activities. And thus they thought of him. They talked of him, his name, his fame, etc. So they didn't blame Krishna for anything. Right? See the heights of their sincerity and their mood, that even though they were very much devastated because they are left all by themselves, their husbands have gone now, or their sons have gone, but still they didn't blame Krishna for anything. Not like the conditioned souls like us, or at least I'll talk about myself, where little things happen and we try to blame Krishna. Oh, it's all because of you. But that didn't happen in their case. They were still very much thinking about Krishna. They want to talk about Krishna, his name and fame, and became affectionate also, like those who were in direct contact. Therefore, directly or indirectly, anyone who thinks of Krishna, who talks of Krishna or worships Krishna, they become attached to Krishna. Because Krishna is absolute and there is no difference between his name, his form, his quality, etc. Our intimate relationship with Krishna can be confidentially revived by our talking, hearing, or remembering him. It is so done due to spiritual potency. So actually, there is no difference. Prabhupada says then when we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, at that moment, Krishna is there on our tongue. We can see Krishna face to face. We can feel Krishna face to face. But again, provided Chaito Dharpanam Arjuna, when our heart is pure like a mirror, then only we will be able to see the form of Krishna in our heart. But otherwise, nothing happens. We are simply chanting. But the chanting of Krishna actually clears. One of the nature of holy name is that it clears the mirror of our heart. So there is no difference when we talk about Krishna, when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, when we chant his name. So they all come in Kirtan. Like we say Nam Kirtan, Guna Kirtan, Rupa Kirtan, Leela Kirtan. So this all comes under the category of glorifying Lord Shri Krishna. And when we do that, our intimate relationship of Krishna is revived. Our Sambandha Gyan is revived. It is awakened. So this is the condition of all the ladies, the female relatives, that their eyes were flooded with the tears out of utkanta, out of anxiety, but still, so that Krishna should not be affected, so that there is no inauspiciousness that happens with Krishna. So they checked their tears, and it was with great difficulty. Text 15. मृदंग शंख भैर्यश्च वीणपणव गोमुखा धुंधुरी अणका घंटाद्य नेदुर्दुन्दुभयस्तथा. So now Krishna is leaving. So his leaving is not an ordinary leaving. It was a very royal procession that happened because Krishna is leaving from Hastinapur to Dwarka. So there were a lot of instruments that were used in honor of Lord Shri Krishna. So these are the names of the instruments: Mridanga, Shankha, Bhairya. Bhairya, Prabhupada says, is like a brass band. Veena, we all know that Narad Muni carries. Panava is a kind of flute, and Gomukha is also a kind of a flute. Dhunduri is like a drum. Anaka is a kettle drum, like Anaka Dundubi. Who is regarded as Anaka Dundubi?
Vasudev.
Vasudev, yes. Vasudev is also known as Anaka Dundubi. So Dhunduri, another drum. Anaka is a kettle drum. Ghantadya, the bell. And Adya means etc. Nedur Dundubhistata, all the other types of drums were sounded at that time. Somebody can read translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Oh,
While the Lord was departing from the palace of Hastinapur, different types of drums like the Mrudanga, Dhola, Nagra, Dudundri, and Dudumbi, and the flutes of different types, the Veena, Gomukha, and Bheri, all sounded together to show him honor. Hare
all
Krishna.
sounded, thank you, Prabhu. All sounded together to show him honor because it was a royal procession that Krishna was leaving. Then what happened? Prasada Shikhararudha Kuru Naryo Didrikshaya Vafrushu Kusmahi Krishnam Prema Vrida Smitikshana. So now all the ladies in the previous to previous verse, we saw that they all came out from their palace, but they didn't come out on streets. So now here, Sutta Goswami is clarifying. He's saying, Prasada Shikhara Aruda. They came out from their own palace, on their own rooms, but where did they go? They Shikhara Aruda. Aruda means to ascend, to climb up on the top. Shikhara means on the roof of the palace. Prasada Shikhara Aruda. Aruda we know from Bhagavad Gita. Arurukshu and Aruda stage of yoga, right? Arurukshu is start. And when somebody ascends to that yoga ladder, he comes on the level of Aruda stage. So from there, it is said that Prasada Shikhara Aruda. They ascend on the Shikhara, on the top, on the roof of their palace. Who all? Kurunaryo Didrikshara. All the ladies of the Kuru royalty, or the Kuru dynasty, Kurunaryo Didrikshara. Why? Because now they were seeing. They want to see Krishna leaving, mounting on the chariot and leaving for Dwarka. To see Krishna, they ascend. They went on the top of the palace. Vavrishu Kusmahi Krishna. And when they saw Krishna, unhone varsha kari. They showered. They showered what? Flowers. Kusumai. They showered flowers on Krishna. Out of prema vrida, out of the love, out of affection for Krishna. And smitekshana. Smitekshana means, smita means smile. And ikshana means the glance. So they saw Krishna with a shying glance. So they were shy smiles. They were smiling, but at the same time, there was shyness in the heart of all those ladies. Somebody can read translation.
Hey, Krishna Mataji. Oh, go ahead, Prabhuji.
Okay. Out of loving desire to see the Lord, the royal ladies of the Kurus got up on top of the palace, and smiling with affection and shyness, they showered flowers upon the Lord. Next.
Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, your name is Purna? Purna Prakash.
Prakash Garada.
Okay, nice. So thank you, Prabhu. Out of loving desire to see the Lord, the royal ladies of the Kurus, they went on the top. Okay, so Shikhara Aruda, they went on the top of the place and they smiled and showered flowers. Prabhupada writes in the purport, shyness. He explains about the shyness because this has lost in Kali Yuga. This shyness is no more there in the ladies. So Prabhupada is saying this shyness is actually an ornament of a woman. And it is a particular extra natural beauty. And it commands respect from the opposite sex. So if the shyness is there, it commands respect. Prabhupada gives the example of a sweeper woman. A sweeper woman commanded, here it is, a sweeper woman commanded the respect of many gentlemen, respectable gentlemen, simply by manifesting a lady's shyness. Whereas half-naked ladies in the street do not command any respect, but a shy sweeper's wife commands respect from all. So this is what Prabhupada says. This custom was observed even during the days of Mahabharata, that is 5,000 years ago. So it is only the less intelligent people who are not well versed in the itihas, in the history of the world, and say this observance of separation from a male and female is an introduction of Mohammedan period in India. So because in the Mohammedans, they observe their strict parda, right? There is a parda system where they restrict the association with the opposite sex. But it is not through Mohammedan, because this Mohammedan culture is a very recent culture that has come because of Prophet Muhammad, right? That this Muslim religion has evolved. But here Prabhupada is saying that we are talking about the Mahabharata time, which is 5,000 years ago. Even at that time, the ladies were very they were very shy, and there was a restriction of mingling of male and females. There was a restriction. So this is low intelligent people, those who are less intelligent. They consider that this Parda system is because of that Muhammadan period, but that's not the case. Actually, it happened even during the time of Mahabharata. So, and instead of coming down in the open air and see Krishna face to face, where all the other men were assembled, these ladies of the palace, they went on the top of the palace. And from there, they paid their respects to Lord Shri Krishna and showered the flowers. It is definitely stated here that the ladies were smiling here or there on the top of the palace, checked by shyness. This shyness is a gift of nature to the fair sex, and it enhances their beauty and prestige, even if they are of a less important family or even if they are less attractive. Human civilization, as conceived by the sages of India, it is to help one free oneself from the clutches of illusion. And the material beauty of a woman is an illusion. Because actually the body is made up of the Panchabhutas, the fire, earth, air, water, fire, air, earth, and etc., space, ether. But because there is an association of the living spark, it appears to be beautiful. So we know this, the story of a liquid beauty, right? Prabhupada often quotes that one man was very much charmed with the beauty of a lady. And he said, I want to marry you and I'm in love with you and you are so beautiful. And that lady said, oh, really? Then come after 1 week. And the entire week she started taking laxatives. And because of it, she was vomiting and she was bowling. And then what she did, she collected all her urine, stool, and her vomit in the two earthen pots she collected. And she became so emaciated because of the laxatives that she was taking. And 1 week later, the man came and then he said, oh, there was one very beautiful woman nearby. And then she said, it's me only. And the man said, no, you are not the one. I'm talking about that beautiful lady that I saw 1 week. And then she said, oh, that lady, she is in those two pots. So the point is, Prabhupada named the story as liquid beauty. This is the liquid beauty that a woman carries. So Prabhupada is here also saying that actually this body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. But because of the association of the living spark, it appears to be beautiful. No one is attracted by an earthen doll. Even it is more perfectly prepared to attract the attention of others. The dead body has no beauty because no one will accept dead body of a so-called beautiful woman. So that beauty is not of the body, that beauty is of the living spark that is there in the body. Therefore, the conclusion is that the spirit spark is beautiful. And because of the soul's beauty, the body looks attractive. The Vedic wisdom therefore forbids us to be attracted by this false beauty. Why? Because if we are attracted with the bodily conception of life, then we are totally in illusion. But if we are connected to that spark that is there in the body, that spark is beautiful, that spark is attractive. So because now we are in the darkness of ignorance, the Vedic civilization allows very restricted mixing of women and men. So actually there is no difference, but we are not in that pure state. We are in the contaminated state. So therefore the Vedas, they prescribe that there should be no intermingling of men and women. That's why in all our temples also you see that there is a separation, like the women are separated and the males are separated. They stay separate. So this restriction is there for the benefit of people because they are in the contaminated state. Again, from the chapters that we have covered in the first canto, we saw that how Sukhdev Goswami, he used to walk naked. And the women who are also taking bath, they will also not cover their body seeing Sukhdev Goswami, because they know that Sukhdev Goswami is beyond the bodily conception. So in uncontaminated state, yes, we are just the spiritual spark. But right now, we are not in that uncontaminated stage. We are totally contaminated by the three modes of material nature. We have those anarthas, the anarthas of lust, anger, pride, greed, enviousness, jealousy. We all have those anarthas in our heart. So therefore, the restrictions should be there, okay, in the mixing of man and woman. They say that the woman is considered to be the fire and the man is considered to be the butter. And therefore, the butter must melt in the association with fire. And therefore, they may be brought together only if it is necessary. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this, led this exemplary life of being a true sannyasi. Therefore, this pastime of Chota Haridas also comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he describes that how when Mahaprabhu came to know about Chota Haridas, that he went and begged alms from a woman. And he spent some time also, women, just by talking. So Mahaprabhu was very upset. And he said, this intermingling should not happen. When you are, especially when you are in the renounced order of life, because of this reason, the woman is considered to be the fire and man is considered to be the butter, and the butter must melt in the association with fire, and therefore they should be brought together only when it is necessary. And shyness is a check to the unrestricted mixing. If the women are carrying this ornament of shyness, they will restrict themselves in intermingling with the opposite sex, opposite gender. But if that shyness, which is practically gone in this age of Kali Yuga, naturally this unrestricted mixing has happened. This 11 relationships has happened. What is all this? This is all because people in Kali Yuga, they are left their shyness, and it is a nature's gift. Therefore, it must be utilized. It's a nature. Shyness is considered to be the ornament of a woman. All other ornaments are external, but this is the real ornament that a woman should have in her heart. Continuing text 17. सीतात्पत्रं जिग्रह मुक्तदामा विभूषितं रत्नदण्डं गुणाकेश प्रिय प्रियतमस्यः. So now Sitapatram, Sitatpatram means, Sita means cold and Tapa means heat. So anything that protects us from heat and cold. Now here cold doesn't refer to the cold season, but the rainy season, you can say. So Sitatpatram is actually the umbrella. Okay. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he writes, actually it's a white umbrella. Sitatpatram jigraha, took up. Somebody took up that white umbrella. And how that umbrella was? Muktadama vibhushitam. It was ornamented. It was vibhushitam. It was looking very beautiful. Why? Because it was decorated with muktadama, with the pearls and with the laces. It was embroidered. It was looking very beautiful. Ratna dandam, and when in its danda, it's the stick with which you hold that umbrella. That stick was also jeweled, ratna. It was covered with lot of jewels, with lot of ratnas. And who was holding? Gudakesha. Who is Gudakesha? Arjun. Arjun is another name is Gudakesha. Why? Why Gudakesha? Because he is the one who conquered sleep. He is an expert warrior who has conquered sleep. This is one meaning, but there is another meaning of Gudakesha is one who has conquered ignorance. Because Arjun was blessed by the transcendental knowledge that was given by Krishna on the battlefield. So he was able to conquer his ignorance, and also he conquered his sleep. Therefore, he is known as Gudakesha. So Arjun was holding that white umbrella. He took up that white umbrella, which was ornamented, which was decorated with the laces and pearls, and his danda, the stick, was also ornamented or decorated with different kind of jewels. Why he did it? For whom he did it? Priya Priyatamasyaha. He was very intimate friend of Krishna. He is Priya. He is the beloved of the most beloved Lord, Priyatamasyaha. So he did it for his Lord. So Arjun is an intimate friend of Lord Shri Krishna. Again, the question comes that there are so many intimate friends, especially when we see in Vrindavan, we see Madhumangal, Sridham, and Sudam. There are so many Arjun, Ujjwal. There are so many Priya Sakhas of Lord Shri Krishna. But why Arjun, when it comes to talking about the friend of Krishna, we talk about Arjun? So again, our acharyas, they say that those who are in Vrindavan and have that Sakhya Bhav towards Lord Shri Krishna and are Sakhas of Lord Shri Krishna, they are actually not just the Sakhas, but they are the expansions of that Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord himself expands into all these kinds of different Sakha so that he can enjoy that relationship with them. Just like all the gopis of Vraj, they are who they are. They are just the expansion of Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani only expands herself as Lalita, Vishakha, Tungavidya, Sri Devi, Indulekha. All these gopis, they are the expansions of Srimati Radharani. Similarly, all the sakhas, all the cowherd boys, they are also the expansions of Lord Shri Krishna. So they are part of Lord Shri Krishna. But as a friend outside Vrindavan, we see only three main friends that have been described. One is Arjun, second is Uddhava, and third is Sudama. Sudama, we know the pastime of Sudama. Okay. So these are the three friends which are considered to be the real sakhas of Lord Shri Krishna. So one of them was Gudakesha, Arjun, Priya Priyatamasyaha. And he is the most beloved. He is the most beloved of the most beloved Lord. And therefore he was carrying that white umbrella on Lord Shri Krishna. Somebody can read translation.
Hare Krishna. At that time, Arjuna, the great warrior and conqueror of sleep, who is the intimate friend of the most beloved Supreme Lord, took up an umbrella which had a handle of jewels and was embroidered with lace and pearls. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Nisha Mataji. So see how intricate details have been given by Sutta Goswami. How detailed fashion he is explaining the departure of Lord Shri Krishna to Dwaraka. Prabhupada writes in his purport, gold, jewels, pearls, valuable stones, they were used in the luxurious royal ceremonies. And they are all nature's gifts. And they are produced by the hills, ocean, earth, etc., by the order of the Lord. But when man does not waste this valuable time in producing unwanted things in the name of necessities, in the name of advancement, in the name of improvement, or in the name of industrial civilization. So-called development of industrial enterprises, they are now using pots of gutta parcha. So what is this gutta parcha? This gutta parcha is like a hard, non-elastic rubber material. Okay, it comes from the parcha tree. Instead of metals like gold, silver, brass, and copper, these are the pure metals. But these days, what we are seeing, and forget about this, even rubber, we are using plastics, which is very, very dangerous, very, very harmful. So, and Prabhupada is writing, okay, this is just for the utilities, for the things that we use. But what about the things that we eat? So they are using margarine instead of purified butter. Today, people are allergic to ghee, and they have come and they have adapted this refined oils or margarine. So this is unhealthy eating. And 1/4 of the city population has no shelter. So all this has stopped in the name of so-called industrial advancement. But Prabhupada says, if we stop wasting our time in inventing all these new things in the name of necessities, then we'll be more close to nature. We'll be more close to Mother Earth. And we will be bestowed with all these different gifts that the Mother Nature is gifting us. So we will use them. We will take advantage of these natural gifts that Mother Nature is giving. If we stop wasting our time in creating new things, especially this plastic, which is very dangerous. Yes, Divyangi, Lalita Mataji, you want to add something?
Mataji, I had a question, Mataji.
Yeah.
You had mentioned about how the gopis are expansions of Srimati Radharani and the sakas are expansions of Lord Krishna. So are they like Swamsha, Mataji, or Vibhanamsha? Or
No, they are not Swamsha, definitely not. Swamsha is just when Krishna expands himself in Rasa dance, or when Krishna expands himself in Dwarka to enjoy all the different ladies, the different women in different palaces when Krishna is there. That's just the Swamsa, because Swamsa expansion is Krishna, he himself. Okay, as Krishna. Now, the gopis, they were thinking that every gopi, there was one Krishna. So every gopi was thinking, oh, I'm so fortunate that I'm dancing with Krishna. All the women of Dwarka, they were thinking, the queens of Dwarka, that, oh, Krishna is only with me in my palace. But actually, that was not true. Krishna was there with all the 16,108 queens of Dwarka. So that is the Swamsa expansion. But all these others, they are known as Vibhinamsha expansion.
so like we as living entities, we are also said to be like Amsha, right, Mataji? Like Mamaiva Amsha Jaiva Loka.
Yeah, we are
So
also
so like how are the gopis and the sakas? Like are they in between,
Nitya
Mataji?
Siddhas. They are Nitya
Nitya
Siddhas. And we are Nitya Baddhas. We are Amshas of Krishna only, but we are right now in the contaminated state.
Got it, Mataji. Thank you.
That's how we have to understand. Okay. So moving ahead to text number 18. Uddhava Satyakischaiva Vyajane Paramadbhute Bhikkiryamanah Kusumai Reje Madhupati Pati. Very beautiful verse. Now again they are saying, who all? Uddhava. So Uddhava was there, Satyaki was there as a charioteer. And they all were engaged, Vyajane, they were engaged in fanning the Supreme Lord, Param Adbhuta, and it was very, very beautiful to see. Param Adbhuta. Vikiryamana Kusmai, and the Lord Shri Krishna, he sat on the throne, not the throne as such, but the throne that was made on the chariot. So he sat on that throne, and that throne was scattered like lot of flower petals, kusumai, lot of flower petals were scattered on that throne. And Krishna sat on those. He got seated on those flowers scattered area that was there on the chariot. And Reje Madhupati Pati. And so who? It's Madhupati. Madhupati is the name of Lord Shri Krishna. So when he was on the way, he was on the road towards Dwarka. So he was on the chariot, he mounted that chariot, and the seat of chariot was decorated with the flower petals. And Uddhava was fanning the Lord, and Satyaki was the chariot driver. Somebody can read the translation.
Uddhava and Satyaki began to fan the Lord with decorated fans, and the Lord, as the master of Madhu, seated on scattered flowers, commanded them along the road.
Thank you, Sadamini Mataji. So now the beautiful word here is Madhupati. So our Srila Sridhar Swami, when he writes this commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, the first commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam, he writes that this Madhupati, why Krishna is known as Madhupati? So he refers in Aishwarya Bhav, he says that Madhu is the Madhu demon. So Krishna, he conquered that Madhu demon. He killed that Madhu demon, and therefore he is known as the master of Madhu or the lord of Madhu, because he killed that Madhu demon. He's a lord of Madhu demon. So therefore he is known as Madhupati. But in Rajbhav, Madhu also means the sweetness, and the Supreme Lord, our Krishna, he is the Lord of all sweetness. Madhupati, Madhuradhipate, Akhilam Madhuram. Right? So he is Madhupati because he is the Lord of all sweetness. So now it's up to us. We can take any meaning, but Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that both the meanings are right. One, that he is the Lord of Madhu demon, therefore he is known as Madhupati. Or in the Vrajbhav, we can understand that he is the Lord of all sweetness, and therefore he is known as Madhupati. अश्रूयन्ताशिषा सत्यास्तत्र तत्र द्विजैरितः नानुरूपानुरूपश्च निर्गुणस्य गुणात्मनः. Now here it says ashruyanta. Ashish refers to Ashirvad or the blessings or the benedictions that were showered by Dvijaritaha, by the Brahmanas. By the Brahmanas, when they were, Krishna was leaving, they were giving Ashish. And these Ashish were heard by Krishna. Okay, Ashruyanta Shishaha Satyas. And these benedictions, these Ashirvads, or this benedictions, or you can say the blessings, they are always true. They are Satya, they are true. But Nanurupanurupascha, they are befitting and they are not befitting. So Anurupas means they are befitting. Nanurupa means they are not befitting. Why? Sometimes it is those Ashirvads or those benedictions, they are always true. But sometimes they befit Krishna or sometimes they do not befit Krishna. Why? Because he is Nirgunasya Gunatmanaha. So now here a little explanation is needed. So why it says that Nanurupascha means sometimes it is befitting and sometimes it is not befitting. So we have to understand that Krishna, in one sense, it says Nirgunasya. Nirgunasya means he is Nirguna. He is without any quality. But what does it mean? That he is without any material quality. He has transcendental qualities. He is not bound with the three modes of material nature. Okay, so he is Gunatmanaha. He is under Guna, but not under material Guna. He is playing the role of a human, as Prabhupada translates. Gunatmana means he is playing the role of human being. Naravat Leela, like a human being. He is not a human. Krishna is not human, but he is playing the role of a human being. And therefore he says he is Nirguna. He doesn't have any qualities. He doesn't have any material qualities. That's how we have to understand this word Nirguna, that he doesn't have any material qualities. So all the blessings that were uttered by the Brahmanas, they were heard, but they are true, they are Satya. But sometimes it is befitting and sometimes it is not befitting. Why they were not appropriate? Because the Supreme Lord is beyond all those qualities. So all the blessings that were showered by the Brahmanas, those blessings were of this world. But Krishna is not touched by this world. Krishna is beyond these qualities, beyond the three modes of material nature. Therefore, those qualities were inappropriate. They were nanurupasa, but rupasacha, but also they were befitting. Why? Because it's out of love that a devotee carries. So yes, all are true. The blessings are satya, they are true. But those blessings were inappropriate. Why? Because like somebody says, Krishna, be happy. Now, it is inappropriate because Krishna is not touched by any material miseries, that Krishna will suffer any distress. So naturally, Krishna will always be happy from the spiritual point of view. But from the point of sweetness, it is appropriate also because the same blessings are given by the devotees of Krishna, by the Brahmanas who were present. And Krishna is always Bhakta Vatsala and Bhakta Vashyata. He is always controlled by the devotees' love. So therefore, those blessings that are coming out from the mouth of the devotees, that you be happy, is also true, is also appropriate. So we have to understand both the meanings. It's appropriate, at the same time it is not appropriate. So if we see the Aishwarya Bhav of Krishna, then Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. He is beyond all these material modes of nature. So any blessings that we give to Krishna will not be appropriate for Krishna because Krishna is beyond all this. But at the same time, when we have that prema with love, of love, and we have that prema, then Krishna comes under the jurisdiction of that prema. Therefore, he is known as Bhakta Vashyata. Bhakt apne vash mein kar lete hain Krishna ko. So at that time, Krishna becomes subordinate to his devotees. He becomes dependent on his devotees. So at that time, when blessings are being given, then it is appropriate. So therefore, nanu rupanu rupasya cha. Nanu rupanu rupasya nirgunasya gunatmana. That Krishna, who is nirgun, who doesn't have any material qualities, playing a role of a human. In this regard, I was also reflecting that Lord Nrsingadev in Mayapur, if we see, he is the Supreme Lord, Lord Nrsingadev. He is the one who is Vignaharta, all the Vigna that arises on the path of Bhakti. He takes all the Vigna, all the problems, all the obstacles, he's the one who takes away. So that means he takes away all the inauspiciousness. So if he's the one who can take all the inauspiciousness, that doesn't mean that inauspiciousness gets stuck to the Supreme Lord. So he is the master, he is Mayadhish. So he takes away all the inauspiciousness. But the mood of the devotee is कि मेरे भगवान को नजर न लग जाए. So even in Mayapur and Lord Nrsingadev, he wears that nazar ka hatne ka na, like what you say, it's
Tiger claw.
Thick claw of the tiger.
one by
Tiger
one.
claws.
One by one.
Tiger nails.
हाँ,
Tiger nails.
tiger nail or the claw that he wears, जिससे कि भगवान को नजर ना लगे. Right? So that is the bhav. Thank you. That is the bhav. That is the mood of a devotee. So what inauspiciousness can touch the Supreme Lord when he is the one who takes away all the inauspiciousness from the path of his pure devotees? So what inauspiciousness can touch? But it's the mood of the devotee, of the bhakta, that, oh, like Mother Yashoda also, she used to take out the nazar of Krishna by the tail of a surabhi cow. 7 times she would do, especially when that Putana pastimes happen. So again, the Supreme Lord is Jagadishwar, who can, he's beyond all this, but that's the bhav that the devotees carry. Therefore, he's saying, Ashrutane Ashisha Satyas, those benedictions are Satyas, they're true. And Tatra, all these Dvijarita, these Brahmanas, they are chanting these benedictions one after another. And these are Nanurupascha. They are true at the same time. They are befitting at the same time. They are not befitting. Why? Because Sri Krishna is Nirgunasya Gunatmana. Somebody can read the translation and then Param Bhavani Mataji, you only go ahead and read.
Thank you. It was being heard there and here and there that the benedictions being paid to Krishna were neither befitting nor unbefitting, because they were all for the Absolute, who was now playing the part of a human being. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. You have a question also?
Mataji, I was wanted to mention one point regarding this, that all the opposite qualities perfectly merge in Krishna.
Yes,
Like
he harmonizes all the contradictions.
in our Ishopanishad class.
Yes, yes. And Prabhupada will point out this in his purport also. At places, there were sounds of Vedic benediction aiming at the Supreme. The benedictions were fitting in the sense that the Lord was playing the part of a human being, as if a cousin of Maharaj Yudhishthir. But they were unfitting also, because the Lord is absolute and has nothing to do with any material relativities. He is nirguna, he doesn't have any material qualities, but he's full of transcendental qualities. So in the transcendental world, there is nothing contradictory, whereas in the relative world, everything is its opposite. In the relative world, white is the opposite conception of black, but the transcendental world, there is no distinction between white and black. Therefore, the sounds of benedictions that was uttered by the Brahmanas here and there, they appear to be contradictory in relation with the Supreme Absolute Person. But our Krishna is the harmonizer of all contradictions. But when they were applied to the Absolute, they lose their contradiction and they become transcendental. And Prabhupada quotes this very beautiful example. One example may clear this idea. Lord Shri Krishna is described as a thief. He is famous amongst the pure devotees as Makhan Chor. He used to steal butter from the house of the neighbors at Vrindavan in his early age. Since then, he is famous as a thief, Navanita Chora. But in spite of being famous as a thief, he's worshipped as a thief. Now, which thief is worshipped in this material world? The thieves are always punished by the law. In the mundane world, the thief is punished and it's never praised. But our transcendental thief is worshipped. He is a thief and he gets worshipped. So again, our Srila Bilva Mangal Thakur, he writes this Chaurashtakam, very beautiful. He says that Krishna is a first-class thief, Chaura Agraganyam. Among the Ganana, among the different types of thieves, our Krishna is Agraganyam, is the first-class thief. Very beautiful. In Chaurashtakam, he's saying, Vraje prasidham navnita chauram gopan gananam chadukula chauram aneka janmarjita papa chauram chauragraganyam purusham namami Shiradhikaya hridasa chauram navambudha shamala kanti chauram Padashritanam cha samastha chauram chauragraganyam purusham namami. So he sings that, oh, this is chauragraganyam. He is the first class thief and I bow down to this first class of thief. Vraje prasidam. He is famous in Vraja as Navanita chauram, as a butter thief. Navanita is butter. He is famous as a butter thief. Gopan gananam cha dukkula chauram. He takes away the clothes of the gopis. He steals the gopis' clothes. And not only that, aneka janmarjita papa chauram. Like for aneka janma, we have collected all our papas. Very nicely, we have collected all those papas. All the sinful activities that we have done, because of which we have incurred lot of sinful reactions. We have nicely taken care of all that. And when we come in contact with Krishna's name, Krishna's form, Krishna's quality, he immediately takes away all the sinful reactions which we have arjit kiya hai, which we have very carefully taken care of. And Krishna immediately takes away all the reactions of all our papas. Chauragraganyam purusham namami. He is the agraganyam. He is the first class thief among all the thieves. And then Bilva Mangal Thakur says, not only that, Shri Radhikaya Hridasya Chauram. He takes away the heart. He's such a foremost thief that he takes away the heart of Srimati Radharani. And he steals the color of the ambuda, the color of the cloud, the freshly formed monsoon cloud. He steals the color of that cloud and he applies it on his own self. He takes the Shamala Kanti Chauram. Padashritanam cha samasta chauram. Anyone who takes shelter of that Lord Shri Krishna, he takes away his sins and sufferings. How wonderful thief he is. So there Prabhupada is also saying that he is worshipped as a thief. In the mundane world, no thief is worshipped. But Krishna, the transcendental thief, he is worshipped. Therefore, he harmonizes all the contradictions. So the point is that any benediction that was given by the Brahmanas, they were true, they were satya, but they were fitting and they were not befitting. So why they were not unfitting? They were not unfitting because the Lord is absolute. But why they were fitting? Because he was playing the role of a human being. 20th verse. Anyonyamasit sanjalpa uttama shloka chetasam kauravendra purastrinam sarvashruti manohara. So Anyonyam means all the ladies, they were among each other. Anyonyam means among each other. They were doing sanjalpa, not prajalpa. Jalpa means to talk. Prajalpa means useless talk. But sanjalpa means collectively they were coming together and they were talking of Krishna. They were talking his glories. Uttama shloka chetasam. And they were praising him with the selected poetry. So Uttama shloka. So Uttama shloka also has two meanings. We have discussed this in our previous unit. That any shloka, any poetry that is used to glorify Krishna, that poetry itself is uttama. Even though it may have faults, Tadvag Visarga Janata, we have seen that verse, right? Even though it may have faults, but still that poetry will be known as uttama. Why? Because it is glorifying the Supreme Lord, Ananta. And another meaning of uttama shloka is that only the uttama shloka, only the best of the poetry can be used in glorifying Lord Shri Krishna. So Anyonam Asit Sanjalpa Uttama Shloka Chetasam. Their hearts, their chitta were absorbed in that way that they were discussing about Lord Shri Krishna in the Uttama Shloka, in the best poetry ever. Who all were doing this? Kauravendra Purastrina. Kauravendra means the king of the Kurus. There were a lot of kings who were assembled and their wives, their Strinam, their wives were discussing about those qualities, those glories of Lord Shri Krishna. Sarva Shruti Manohara. Now this line has two meanings. Sarva Shruti Manohara means the glorification that they were singing for Lord Shri Krishna. Those glories were very pleasing to hear, were very pleasing to heart. Their glories, what they were singing and talking with each other, it was very, very soothing, very, very pleasing, very, very attractive to Shruti, to our ears, and to mind, to mana. That is the one meaning of Shruti, one meaning of Sarva Shruti Manohari. That it was very attractive to the ears and the minds. Another meaning is that Shruti also refers to Shruti scriptures. So since they were discussing about Lord Shri Krishna, Vedescha Sarver Ahameva Vedya, where Krishna says that I am to be known of all the Vedas. So when we are talking, when these ladies were talking about Krishna, they were actually talking about the person who is the embodiment of all the Vedas and all the Upanishads. And therefore, these Shrutis, they were feeling very happy in their heart. Why? Because these loving exchanges, these words that were exchanged among the ladies, they were greater than all the Shruti Shastras, all the scriptures. So somebody can read the translation.
Hare Krishna, Mother. Absorbed in the thought of the transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is sung in selected poetry, the ladies on the roofs of all the houses of Hastinapura began to talk of him. This talk was more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas.
Thank you, Gauranga Prabhu. So this talk was more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas. So Sarva Shruti Manohara. So you got the two meanings. One is that they were more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas, and even the Shrutis were happy that they were glorifying Krishna. And Sarva Shruti Manohara means that their talks were very pleasing to the ears and to the mind. Prabhupada writes, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that all the Vedic literatures, the goal is the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. Vedischa sarvar aham eva vedyo vedanta krit veda vid eva chaham. Factually, the glories of the Lord are depicted in various literatures like Vedas, Ramayana, and Mahabharata. And in the Bhagavatam, they are especially mentioned in respect to the Supreme Lord. Because we know that Bhagavatam came because Srila Vyasadeva didn't describe explicitly about the Supreme Lord. So this Bhagavatam specifically mentioned in respect to the glories of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, while the ladies on the tops of the houses in the capital of the kings of the Kuru dynasty were talking about their Lord, their talk was more pleasing than the Vedic hymns that were chanted by the Brahmanas. Anything sung in the praise of the Lord is a Shruti mantra. It is a Shruti mantra. Therefore, Prabhupada is writing that even the songs of Thakur Narottam Das, he is an Acharya of a Gaudiya Sampradaya, and he wrote songs. It was in simple Bengali language. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who was another Acharya in the same Sampradaya, he has actually approved the songs of Thakur Narottam Das. Why? Because they were as good as Vedic mantras. Why? Because it was in the glorification of the Supreme Lord. So even though they have been composed in a simple Bengali language, but because it is coming from the heart of a pure devotee in glorification of the Supreme Lord, therefore their words are also regarded as good as Vedic mantras. All these Vaishnava songs written by Srila Lochan Das Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Srila Narottam Das Thakur, they are actually the essence of the entire Krishna consciousness. They are the real sound vibration. They are the real Vedic mantras. And this is so because of the subject matter. The language is immaterial. It doesn't matter. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he wrote his Chaitanya Charitamrita in Bengali language. But when you read, it's so pleasing to heart. Even if we don't know Bengali, but the rhythm, the way he has written, the way he has composed, it's very pleasing to heart and it's very attractive to mind. So the ladies who were also absorbed in the thought and action, it says, Chetasam, their heart were absorbed in the thought and the actions of the Lord. They developed the consciousness of the Vedic wisdom by the grace of the Lord. This Vedic wisdom can only be gained by the grace of the Lord. Like we see the example of Prahlad of Dhruva Maharaj. He wants to glorify the Supreme Lord, Prishni Garbha, when he saw the Supreme Lord right in front of him. But he was unable because he was a 5-year-old boy. He cannot compose those Sanskrit verses. So he prayed to the Supreme Lord, and the Supreme Lord touched his conch shell. And that touching of conch shell on the forehead of Dhruva Maharaj was actually the blessing that was given by the Supreme Lord, or the mercy or the grace of the Lord, by which the entire Veda and Vedic knowledge entered in the heart of Dhruva Maharaj, and he was able to recite those prayers. So it is only by the grace of the Lord that one develops this wisdom, this consciousness of Vedic wisdom, and it happened in the heart of the ladies. And therefore, although such ladies may not be learned scholars in Sanskrit, but still whatever they spoke was more attractive than the Vedic hymns. The Vedic hymns in the Upanishads are sometimes indirectly directed to the Supreme Lord, but the talks of the ladies were directly spoken of the Lord, and thus they were more pleasing to the heart. The ladies' talks appear to be more valuable than the learned Brahmana's benedictions. So even Krishna says, I'm not very much pleased by the Purusha Shuktas or the Purusha Shuktas that is being recited by Brahma and all the demigods. But I'm very happy to hear the chastisement of my Mother Yashoda. When she chastises me, when the Sakhas, when they blame me, I love those blame, I love those chastisement more than that of the Purusha Shuktas that have been chanted. So we also see this example in Brahma Vimohan Leela. So Krishna, when he bewildered Brahma, and finally Brahma came and asked forgiveness. So he was chanting one prayer after another, one glorification after another. And Krishna was simply standing, yawning and saying, okay, bas, done, enough. Okay, I have to go, I have to play with my friends. My friends are waiting for me. So Krishna doesn't pay any heed to all those prayers of Brahma. Why? Because he doesn't like all these mantras or these Shruti mantras. So this is only for the Vaikuntanath. That is only for Narayan. But when it comes to our Vraja Krishna, our Vrajendra Nandana Krishna, then of course Krishna likes to be chastised by Mother Yashoda, or he wants to have that conversing talks with his Vrajavasis friends. So this is the mood of Lord Shri Krishna. So it's already time, so we'll stop here, and text 21 onwards we'll cover next Tuesday. Yes, Praladhananda Prabhu and Padmini. Yes, Padmini Mataji, you go ahead first.
Mataji, I was just thinking in this connection, we have a saying in this area that the ladies should not chant the Vedic mantras. One particular, the condition is here, at least in South India. That means because we are allowed to talk about Krishna continuously, and which pleases him more than. Can it be thought that way? Vedic, you don't have to spend your time all the way to do Vedic hymns and all that. And the ladies generally, they are not allowed to chant or sing the Vedic mantras here, Mataji. Could be this is because already they are allowed to talk about him in groups and enjoy that. Why would you spend more time? And I was just thinking about it. I don't know whether it is right or not.
I don't know, Mataji, actually, Srila Prabhupada didn't create that restriction for all of us. Even the ladies, they are allowed to study all these Vedas, Bhagavatam, but the point is, Vedescha sarvarahameva vedyo. After reading all these Vedas, if somebody doesn't come to the conclusion that the purpose of studying the Vedas is to know Krishna, if we fail in that purpose, then what is the point of studying those Vedas? So better to come in the contact of our devotees of the Lord and discuss about the Supreme Lord, discuss about his form, his name, his pastimes, his qualities. And that is definitely more pleasing. And that is what is Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so yes, now this Bhagavatam is being relished by the ladies. There are so many Vaishnavis that they are giving discourses on Srimad Bhagavatam, and they are themselves relishing Srimad Bhagavatam. So yes, that's the right understanding.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Okay, Praladhananda Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Dandavat Pranam.
Very nice class, and I have a little reflection here regarding this question about Shruti Parayana. Bhagavan Krishna says very beautifully in 13th chapter Bhagavad Gita, 26th slok, says, Anyatvyamam ajanantah shrutva upasate te api cha atitarantyevam mrutyum Shruti Parayana. So even those, he said, Prabhupada Maharaj writes, again there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. And because of the tendency to hear, that's a Shruti Paran, from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. So such a great,
very nice. Very apt verse. Thank you. Thank you for quoting that verse. Thank you.
Another was regarding Lord Krishna removing all our sins. Sukdev Goswami concludes Bhagavatam with the final slok. It says, Nam Sankirtan Yasya Sarva Papa Pranasana. Pranamuduk Samanam Ramami Harim Param. So Bhagavan Krishna's glorification in any stage, it is going to give us complete liberation and complete love for Lord Shri Krishna. Therefore, beyond doubt, since Prabhupada Maharaj mercy is so much on us. Thank you, Mother.
Oh, yes, very true, very true. And Bhagavatam starts with Janmadasya Yado. It starts with the glorification and it ends with the glorification of the Supreme Lord. So in and out, Bhagavatam is filled with the glorification of the Supreme Lord. Thank you, Pranadhananda Prabhu. Thank you for that. Yes, Divyangi Mataji.
Mataji, you had mentioned two meanings for Uttama Shloka. One was glorifying the Lord with choicest poetry. I did not catch the other meaning, Mataji.
So one meaning, Uttama Shloka, actually Prabhupada only gives. In the previous unit when this word came, Prabhupada in the purport explains the meaning of Uttama Shloka, where he says that only Uttama Shloka means the best of the poetry has the capability to glorify Krishna. So only the best of the Sanskrit verses can be used in glorification of describing or glorifying Lord Shri Krishna. So Uttama Shloka. And another meaning is that any shloka, any Sanskrit words, any shloka, when it is in the glorification of the Supreme Lord, it becomes Uttama Shloka. It becomes the first class poetry. Right?
Very nice, Mataji. Thank you.
Glories to Prabhupada. Yes, Tulsi Gopi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I was just going back to that verse Anaka Dundubi. Can you explain a little bit that why Vasudeva is called? It's in some Mahatmya, or is it somewhere in Bhagavatam, that name? Like, is there some explanation?
Yes, he is known as Anak Dundubi because Bhagavatam explains that when Vasudeva was born, and there was a lot of kettle drums that sounded at the birth of Vasudeva, and therefore he is known as Anak Dundubi. Bhagavatam only gives this reason.
Okay. Okay, Mataji. And yeah, I was just also thinking that where you explained, it's explained where the devotees, when they think of the auspicious, like we don't want to make it inauspicious for Krishna. Krishna, so the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, is full of auspiciousness. She never leaves Krishna. So how can any inauspiciousness come to him when he owns all entire auspiciousness? Is the source of that. So it was very sweet that I mean, those who were in the Hastinapur, they knew Krishna is God, right? Supreme Lord. Still they had similar, I guess, bhav like Brajvasis in some tiny infinitesimal that, oh, we should not bring any inauspiciousness, because one who really knows the greatness of Krishna as the Supreme Lord, they will not think, अरे इनको तो कहाँ से आएगा, यही तो सबका, यही सबके अमंगल, सर्व अमंगल हारी है, तो इनको कहाँ से अमंगल आए? How will
he get inauspiciousness? Yeah, so our Suta Goswami explains, because of Sneha Bandhapash, because of that ropes of love and affection that supersedes the Aishwarya Bhav. And therefore they were thinking, oh, we should stop our tears because it may bring some inauspiciousness. As you said, that he's Amangalhari. He himself is carrying the goddess of fortune always in his heart. So no unfortunate thing, no inauspiciousness can touch, but that's the Aishwarya Bhav of Krishna. But when it comes to the Madhurya Bhav, whether it is, see, Madhurya Bhav is not only in the Vrajvasis, but it is also prevailing outside Vrindavan. Madhurya Bhav is there, but in the Swakhya mood. But in Vrindavan, it is more in the Parikhya mood. So even outside Vrindavan, because of the Sneha Bandhapash, because of the They were bound with the ropes of sneha, the love and affection. Their Aishwarya Bhav also, their Madhuri actually supersedes this Aishwarya Bhav, and they also think that, oh, some auspiciousness may touch, so therefore let me check my tears. That's the mood of the ladies outside Vrindavan.
Okay, Mataji, thank you so much. So we have hope, like if we understand Krishna as in terms of the greatness of Krishna, and until we ever get the Braj Bhakti, and until we get covered by Yog Maya, by which we only see Krishna as not as God, until then we also get some of like that bhav that.
Why not? Why not? So Prabhupada says that don't jump directly on the Madhurya Bhav of Raja Prem, because that will be very bewildering. We will be illusioned. So let's understand the greatness of Krishna first by studying the first 9 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Krishna's greatness is being described. Let's first understand how great Krishna is. And then once we understand the greatness of Krishna, the sweetness will automatically flow. So the sweetness of Krishna will automatically flow when we will be in the Daivi Prakriti Mashrita, when we will be under the Yoga Maya, under the shelter of Srimati Radharani. But until then, if we come in the contact of a pure devotee that can awaken that bhav in us, so we cannot do it on our own. This bhakti is not done by its own. It's not a tree. It's a creeper. It always needs a support. We say bhakti lata. It's always a creeper. It needs support. It needs the association of the pure devotees. So if we are in the association of devotees, this bhav will come on its own. So until we come to this Madhurya Bhav, by studying all these Aishwarya Bhav of Dwarkavasis, of Hastinapur Vasis, we may develop that love. Why not? And especially in the next chapter, we will see when Krishna enters Dwarka and how the ladies of Dwarka, how the queens of Dwarka, they reciprocate Krishna just through their eyes. They reciprocate their love because, again, the shyness that they were carrying in their heart. And they reciprocate Krishna. They're seeing Krishna after such a long time. And they reciprocate Krishna's and their own love just through their eyes. So that has also been explained so beautifully in the next chapter. So again, the point is that be in association of the pure devotees of the Lord. Everything will follow on its place. Yes.
Mataji, one more question, last question, that the kurus here that are explained, the ladies who lost their male family members in the war, but they still had affection for Krishna. Is who, like, kuru means general subjects, or even the literally the wives of the 100 Kauravas who died, like the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra who died, even they are also
they are also kurus. Yes,
included in this also.
Yes, they are also included in this. Yes, you are right.
Okay, and the general subjects also. Everybody is called kuru here. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Interestingly, then that they also had some affection for Krishna, which is so fortunate, although their husbands died supporting adharma, right? Still
because they know that their husbands were supporting adharmic activities. And it's been mentioned that even Gandhari and Dhritarashtra were also there when Krishna was leaving, and they were also crying.
And Gandhari cursed Krishna, still she in the end felt affectionate and she cried.
When she cursed, that curse came out because of the anger. But as soon as she cursed, she was checked by Srila Vyasadeva that whatever you did was not right. So she repented, she regretted.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Yes, Devendra Govinda Prabhu.
Mataji, I have just a side question, not related to the lecture. First of all, Dandavat Pranam, Mataji. Can we get an extension on the Shloka test until September 21st?
Yeah, we can take. Yeah, of course. Entire
Thank
September.
you, Dandavat. Thank you, Dandavat.
You can take the entire September. Don't worry. No hard and fast rule. But the point is, be on the pace. Don't just procrastinate, because then it will never end. We will keep moving ahead, one unit after another, and if we are not on the pace, we'll stuck with the previous unit only. So yes, you can take your time, but still try to push yourself. Okay? No problem.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam Mataji, finally, I had a little reflection about.
Yes, please, waiting.
About, our developing Aishwarya Bhav or Madhurya Bhav, like that. Bhagavatam says, Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavati Akinchana Sarve Gune Samasate Sura. So our duty is to do Akinchana Bhakti, and then all will follow. That's what I
All
was saying.
these Sura qualities will automatically manifest. Very nice. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, so thank you all so much for all of your association. We will stop here and we'll see you all on Tuesday. Okay. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, all the assembled Vaishnavas की जय. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And
Thank